Hello, Divine Ones. This is Ashley. This reading is for the new moon happening in the sign of Virgo at 25 degrees. So welcome to the channel. Welcome to the ministry. This is FD 1111 Ministries, where we are taking tarot, Bible, and alchemy and merging the modalities. So continuing on with this message, where this moon is taking place in the third decan of Virgo, which is Venus triplicity, which is represented by this 10 of Pentacles here. And we'll get into the collective energy in a moment. So as a whole, the Hermit card represents Virgo, the Virgin, the consecrated one. And this represents the collective energy altogether, as we are light workers, as we are selected individuals. So this moon is a great opportunity to reflect on love, to activate new aspects of love, even to cut old lovers or old energetic cords, dealing with old relationships. And we're going to get into that. So just a little side note for those that may be new to the channel. I am one that channels singular information, sometimes that may just relate to a single wave of the collective, a couple individuals, or even sometimes just one individual. So I have to do what the Spirit has me to do. And so with that being said, let me see where I shall start. Okay. The Hermit card. And with this Hermit, oops. And this is paired with the goddess Athena, and where we're dealing with wisdom and an inner wisdom and in a form of initiation. This could be an individual that's climbing up that hypothetical mountain. And this hypothetical mountain could be how I was making reference to a while ago about the hierarchy of the collective and DNA activations, new spiritual gifts, new downloads. This is also for someone personally that you have your own tests and trials, your own lessons to be learned. And by passing those tests, you therefore come into your own testimony, and that testimony is your personal story that you will share with others in the collective. This is making reference to what is very, very, very deep within you. Those spiritual gifts, the Diamond Dynasty that I made reference to, like during the Leo, like some energy with Leo. And that was actually through the 8-8 portal. So I'm going to go into a lot, okay, because I feel like this is furthering that energy from the 8-8. The 888 portal, the Lion's Gate, the Heart of the Lion, and it's all about love. It feels like it's all about love and a deep understanding and a rich understanding of what true love is, and that inner strength, all of those spiritual gifts that have been locked in the bowels. And that's just an analogy for being like locked in, pushed down within you. But they're coming up as diamonds. So diamonds are buried deep within the earth. Okay, so we are in the earth sign with this new moon, and that this stuff is coming up and coming up. Oh, I feel it so deeply, and it's coming up. And they're coming up as like diamonds, as jewels. Look at this person right here, this old guy, or I like to say seasoned. He's been around, okay? He has seen many moons. He has seen many lifetimes, if you will. He has grapes on his robe. He has white hair. He's abundant, but he's abundant in wisdom, where we have all this wisdom right here, which makes him abundant in the physical realms. So he is both diverse and rich. And I even hear the word pure on the spiritual aspects and the spiritual planes in the gathering I hear. So his guardians, his ancestors, his guides, they guide him down the straight and narrow to this treasure pot. And through his wisdom and his obedience to the Spirit and to his divine purpose, that he collects a lot of abundance in the tangible sense. Okay. So I feel like for some that with this moon, like I was saying before, and I'm gonna get to the ones that are like removing old residue of love, like old past relationships that they need to cut those energetic cords. But for this specific individual, Man, this feels really beautiful. I hope I don't start crying. But anyways, this feels so beautiful. Look, he is looking, okay, so he's looking towards the future and looking in the past at the same time. He's multidimensional. That's why I feel this like on so many different paradigms. This is very likened to that message I posted about that we are the hinge that is opening up the door for past generations and building upon what they did, and opening up the door for creating a legacy for the future generations to come. This person is building a legacy, all right? And this is a legacy of love, a legacy that's built on the back of love. And I'm going to explain that analogy. So by them following their heart, the heart of the lion, okay, that passion, that calling, that they have everything that they ever wanted in life. Things that seem to be a dream, so multidimensional, like something that they may have accessed in dreamland, or it may seem like a fairy tale, sort of. But this person is sitting back and they're looking back and forward, if that makes sense. Because of the ancestors too, it's like it's something tied to ancestors. So someone could be working with ancestral energy. They could be receiving some type of, I hear prism for some reason, light codes probably, from their ancestors that is literally awakening in their DNA. This person or these people, it seems like these individuals, they're going to another level of understanding and seeing things. So this could be a person that can see things from multi dimensions, like hypothetically speaking. For example, if someone like the elders, so in the biblical text and, and throughout ancient history, the elders were highly regarded because they had a certain level of understanding and access to wisdom and certain types of wisdom. So people of younger generations will come to them for guidance because they could see things from multi-dimension, meaning that they have been there, they've done that, they experienced this and they experienced that, and they even observed other people experiencing things, and so therefore they had a plethora of information and knowledge and wisdom. Now that's a more logical sense, but this person has both logical and spiritual, so they literally can go between dimensions. Look at this gate right here. This gate represents being on both sides, represents being on the outside looking in on a situation and being in the inside looking outward. This also makes reference to a literal elder as well. So someone could be attached, like the viewer, could be attached to ancestors and receiving like guidance from ancestors, both here and on the other side. They could be an elder themselves. Elders were also ones that were on the outer gates of like cities. And when people needed some type of guidance, they would go on the outside of the gate to seek the wisdom from the elders. Okay, give me a second. Now with this inner wisdom, now give me a second because let me see where I'm supposed to go. Now I do have to make reference to this real quick. About those that are cutting the cords in love, that you are to be an observer of your past life. Now, what I mean by past life, it could be literally a past life, but more so about something that has happened in your life, this lifetime, this life cycle, that you need to really go back and observe. You need to really go within and really look at it from an outside perspective. You need to be an outsider looking in on this relationship. So look, right here where we have the dude and we have the chick, or the guy and the girl, and a form of innocence. So the child represents like the innocence. So these people were both innocent in this role play, if you will. But this person may have thought that the other person offended them or done something wrong to them. But by them being on the outside looking in, they look at the situation from a higher perspective. And they're able to really forgive the person. So therefore, they're really cutting that energetic cord because they have learned that lesson. That's the thing about divine timing I mentioned before in at least one other video, that divine timing is predicated upon learning the lesson. If you have not learned the lesson, then you're going to have to repeat the cycle. So this person is understanding that, and they're looking from the outside in on past relationships and the innocence on both sides. So therefore, they're really able to forgive both parties involved, themselves and the other person. And this takes a higher level of wisdom to be able to forgive, which is the number of 707. 70 times 7 in the biblical text may mention of the times that you were to forgive someone. So that could be what that light code is about forgiveness. Because you have to be highly vibrational and highly understanding to be able to forgive. And you see it has Braille on here, on these cards. I adore them. Okay. All right. So that's how you really cut an energetic cord. I did a video a while ago about cutting energetic cords, and many people didn't like it because of the fact that, like, are you really supposed to be cutting or trying to cut an energetic cord when you haven't learned the lesson? They're there for a reason. It's because, well, I'm not going to get too much into it because it's a very deep message. Many people want to get into energy work, or what they call magic, or whatever name you want to put on it, manifestation, etc. But it's all about the mind. It's all about the mental space. Take time to breathe out. You know when you're frustrated with someone and you like hold your breath, you like 1, 2, you just hold your breath. Breathe out. This is talking about reciprocity. Taking a breath in to give it back. This is talking about being generous, giving of your time, and taking the time to really go within. This is for my personal deck, which you can pre-order down below. Divine upgrades. Your hope in the Lord has renewed your strength. Soar like an eagle, run and don't weary. Isaiah 40:31. Isaiah was a prophet. Also 40 is about purification, allowing yourself to be purified. And if you would reverse the 3 and the 1, the 13, this is talking about having self-discipline. And it's also a feminine energy to be able to receive. Okay, give me a second. This pairs well with all of this energy because of the fact that all of this is about wisdom and a higher frequency of wisdom. Not everyone can obtain that. That's why we live in a judgmental world, because most people resonate at that lower frequency of judgment. All right, give me a second. All right. Maybe something about Katie or 𝐏𝐑𝐀𝐘𝐄𝐑, something like that. Sometimes like it comes by so quick, or it may be referenced, maybe not even a person, but a place, or, we have to see what's going on first off. All right, so we have here the moon card. Someone could be dealing with a Cancer, even a Pisces or a Scorpio. It could be the mother. The mother may need to be forgiven. Or you could be a mother that is seeking forgiveness, or maybe not even realizing that both parties need to be forgiven in a situation. This could be Venus. If you have where your placement, if you have, where Venus is placed within your chart, or where it is right now, that will be something that could possibly shine some light on relationships, and your interactions with relationships. There could be some boundary issues, and making it clear. The moon will illuminate it, to make it clear and concise. All right, give me a second. One thing I feel like as well, I hear established abundance. That's what I hear. Establishing something. So the hermit, he could be blind, like physically blind. But the thing about blind people, like their senses, their other senses are so heightened because they have to rely on on the other senses and even a certain amount of intuition. This is speaking about, I hear something about a chance, some type of chance. This also feels like a leader of some sort, like a leader that is coming out of like rubble. So this could be this leader, the rubble could just be a heartbreak that they're stepping out of. This could be a leader that's coming out of, I hear a couple things, so that's why I pause. A leader that's coming out of a certain type of financial situation where we have the first will be last and the last will be first. So this is a person that is like cycling forward. So they could have came from an impoverished area, or either like a lack of some sort, and now they're moving into a different financial circumstance and even relationship circumstances altogether because of the fact that it's just their cycle. So everything, if you draw back, everything has a certain life cycle where you have generations that will keep going on in one type of circumstance, and then it will be some type of cosmic shift. And you can see those cosmic shifts happening now throughout the world, where you have like a lot of old structures and institutions, all of this established stuff being shaken, even being reduced to rubble. And those that are coming out of that rubble that was from the leadership from like cycles ago, like, thousands of years ago, or even several hundred years ago, they came from different dynasties. So different diasporas. You have like people that have been in some form of bondage recently, from like melanated individuals all the way to like even women's rights and women being seen as equal. You're gonna have like a lot of women bosses, women millionaires coming up. You're gonna have like a lot of melanated millionaires, multimillionaires coming up. A lot of leaders and figures that are coming from both of those arenas to shift the paradigm. Another thing with that feminine energy. So there's going to be new structures. Once again, like I didn't mention this though, sometimes it doesn't really span just like during a new moon, it may be a message that will help someone continue on until their situation shifts. That could be, I don't know how long it may span. This is just the most prevalent energy that is given to me at this time, and it just happens to be a Virgo new moon, and it could play out next week for somebody, and for somebody else it could play out a year from now. I just do what I'm supposed to do. But the overall tone of it is like, keep going. Go within. Allow yourself to learn the lessons. The hermit learns. They are both the mentor and the mentee. So taking both of those roles. Knowing that you are a mentor to those that are under you or looking up to you for guidance, regardless if that's just in your home or if that's at the job or if you are on a platform, and that you are a mentee to those that you are receiving information from, even from on the spiritual aspect, from your ancestors, from your guides. This is a person that that doesn't boast, but they could boast. That was a separate message for a small group, where you have here, come here, card. This person, when they get to this arena, like it's like they're moving into a new arena, like they have been. It's almost like a game of some sort, where you started off at one arena, like way down at the very bottom, and you had to fight your way or maneuver your way through that game. You won that game. Now you go into the next one, won the game, you go into the next one. It's like this person that's moving up in rank, up in arenas, and they're learning how to master different games. That's just like a analogy, how they would say that life is a movie or life is like a game. And when you really sit back and observe life and how life plays out, it's pretty almost like predictable. This person is learning that, and or these people are learning that. They have learned how to connect both the conscious and the subconscious mind. I've been speaking a lot about that lately. And they're learning how to be dualistic. They're learning how to be polarized, well, unpolarized. And they're learning how to go down that middle pathway of the high priestess. That's why this person, like I was saying, how they can look both at the future and the past, how they are multidimensional, how they even seem like they can see into the future and see in the past and still be present. That's the high priestess type of energy. Okay. You know that Cape Cod? I think, now, don't quote me. I think Cape Cod, isn't that like a mountain or something? Or... Oh, I just knocked out my own fire with my incense over here. Let's see what this is. Protection. And it literally knocked out my incense when this card flew out. Always protected. That reminds me of a dream I told you guys about, where it's like this red tiger is like intimidating. So there's many interpretations to this dream, where someone could be fearful, or they could be about to enter into a new arena, like a new test of some sort. And that red tiger could represent a person for them. It could represent a circumstance for them. But you are to know that you are protected. You're protected, I hear, protected by the glory, or a ring of fire, if you will. Give me a second. So it could be something dealing with the Capricorn, or some type of structure that you have built or that you're going to be in. It could be a group, or that could just be a reference to your actual guides, like protecting you and leading you through the ring of fire. Right, well, we got a couple cards in here on the floor. Well, we have the Three of Cups, and then we have the Eight of Wands and the Nine of Cups. Okay, so for a certain amount of individuals, that they're learning about something new about themselves. It's something new that's coming in about themselves. And it's like something that is joyful. And it feels like these people, but first they have to go through a test, or like they have to give something up in order for to receive this which is coming in. And they could be fearful about it. So I'm gonna give an example. Someone they may be financially strained, and they may be fearful that, what if I don't have enough? And so the Spirit is saying, testing your faith by saying, okay, well, give to somebody, or give to an organization or something, and see, when I pour out a blessing so big that you can't handle it. You see how those cups are overrunning? And it's 3 of those cups. So you gave 1 cup, but you got 2 more in advance. I mean, afterwards, after you have allowed your faith to be tested. Because it wouldn't be faith if like you had it there in your hand. This is like action, like a call to action that's coming in. Like, okay, so okay, so you say you're faithful. You say that you have faith. Okay, all right, I got you. And then the Spirit is like, okay, dun, 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 and sending in like all of these signs, synchronicities. Even like for someone, could be like warnings, like, okay, you say you want something bigger, but you got to let something go. You got to really put yourself through the test. This is another reason why this card is here. You have an eagle's eye point of view. This card always reminds me of Moses, and Moses that went on the Mount Sinai, and how he always had a staff with him, and he was able to see the Spirit of God and commune with the Spirit of God, and he would see so many different things. He actually was raptured, some form of rapture. Some like esoteric texts say that he became the archangel Metatron. Some texts say that. Okay, well, all the cards want to fly off. Where we have the 10 of Pentacles. Oh, well, like that's another 10. Double blessings. I'm serious. Like, look at that. Double blessings. And it may be slow moving. Look at the little, or it may have seemed to be slow moving. Look at that right there, the little turtle. The turtles move pretty slow. And I feel like this is with that little rat. Don't know if it's a mouse or a rat. I think that's a rat. With that rat, that is like a bit of being not cunning. What's the other word for it? Calculated. Being calculated about your decisions and about who you allow in your space and who you allow in your company. Give me a second. All right, so we have the Ascension rune, and then we have here like the pregnancy rune. Someone could be pregnant, and they could be worried about like, how am I going to be able to like take care of the baby or take care of my family, but they're protected. Other people, they could just be pregnant with the idea. Look, doesn't that look like an eyeball? I made these like when I first started this ministry, which has been like 2 years, a little over 2 years, 2.5 years. But anyways, doesn't it look almost like an eye? A little bit. But the thing with this rune is saying that something that was small, that grows and grows and grows and becomes big and then transforms into something even bigger. So think about a embryo that becomes a fetus, that becomes a baby, that's birthed out as a separate entity, separate from what it came from. So that could be the mentee becoming a mentor, someone that's under somebody else's umbrella of tutelage and forming their own identity. That could be someone coming out of a religion and forming, not really another religion, but maybe another way of how to view things. That could be someone that invested very little, but their money has grown. So they could have invested possibly in stocks or either in a company, invested pretty much overall in themselves. and it's paying off, or will pay off. Like it's growing, and it feels like that type of feeling of like interest. That's a play on words right there. Interest, like when you invest something and it grows, but in trust. Oh God, I got chills when I said that word. In trust. That is a play on the word, that when you entrust your life to the divine, your life to God, the source, that whatever you touch will be a blessing automatically. It will grow in interest and it will overflow. Look at that. Overflow. So that one cup of trust that you that trust that you entrusted in the divine, in God, in source, that it multiplied, it built in trust, and it overflowed and overflowed and overflowed. Look at the ripples. It's continual. And that's also talking about legacy. Ripples continue. And this person or these group of people, they're building a legacy. People are going to sit back. Their great grandkids going to sit back and be like, grandma or grandpa so and so, they did something completely different from what their ancestors did or what their parents did, what the whole generation was doing. And that little bit that they had, they were able to multiply it. And that's how you are now sitting here in this mansion, or whatever the case may be, personal to the person. And that's how we got this lifestyle that we have now. That's how we have this company that we have now. That's how we have the money that we have now. That's how we have relationships that we have now. All because you took the stand and you allowed yourself to entrust in the divine, in the spirit. I'm telling you, I feel this message. Great day, man. Beautiful. Come here, card. So for someone, they're like this. And you have to be the elder sitting on the outside of the gate, looking in on whatever this was that hurt you or upset you, or the person that you may be blaming for it, and take an observer, position. And think about yourself. Sometimes I give this exercise to my clients. Like, think about yourself 10 years from now, and whatever the situation may be. What would the older you or the more experienced you say about the current situation? What would he or she say? What type of advice would she give you right now? Would she be like, oh, girl, don't even worry about it. You know what? You got over that. And guess what? You're doing even better. That's right. Yeah, that would be her. And so that would be the advice for whoever may be feeling like that. Okay, so this card just came off. Okay. Give me a second. I feel like this is like taking the attitude of gratitude. So it does say, milady, and it does look like the person may be like sick or something like that, but I don't feel like necessarily the overall depressing energy is like this person is sick. I think this person is at this paradigm, at a pinnacle of a paradigm shift, and they have a choice to make. Do I continue in my current trajectory of being in the lack mentality, of being frustrated, of being upset, disappointed? Or do I see my future from the self 10 years from now that took that path of faith, trusted in the spirit, in the divine, in the source, and go down that path? Like this person is at that pinnacle right now. So that desire is talking about like connecting with your higher self and being led and guided by that. Not the lower self. The lower self will keep you in this energy. It's very dense. It could be operating out of the flesh. That's what the biblical text talks about, like the sins, which sins means missing the mark. So what has allowed you to miss the mark is by you giving into your fleshly, I was going to say needs, but it's not really need, fleshly desires. This too shall pass. When you pissed, guess what? It's an emotion, which is just a visitor. I'm getting excited. Just a visitor there to say hi, and they can say bye if you allow it to say bye. But some people, like this person, feel like they want to hold on to it. They want to hold on to this grudge. They want to hold on to that type of energy because they're where that card go? Here we go. They subconsciously feel comfortable in that position. And some people may say like, oh, I don't feel comfortable. Why would I feel happy or comfortable with being upset, being sick? Your subconscious mind is telling you that because it's a habit. It's a subconscious habit. The body becomes comfortable with whatever is normal to them. If it's something, the mind, the body, all the same, like in this instance. Like if it feels like the ego, another way of how to explain it, feels like it's being threatened by its current identity, it's going to put up a fight. And that's what I mean by the comfortability. Like the chemicals that are released and secreted in the brain because of that emotion, which is energy in motion, it becomes comfortable. And it wants to resonate and permeate in that type of frequency, in that type of energy, in that type of mood, attitude, whatever you want to call it. You know, I'll give you many different words that will go with that. But you're being challenged. Like the spirit was like, look, you say you want a certain thing, but you're going to have to step your game up. You know, you want this. You want to be booed up. You want all of these pinnacles. You know, you want to build and create a dynasty. But yet you want to live like on the outskirts, like, and just look at other people and be like, oh, you know, how they get there? You know, how they happy? Now, we could take this from a standpoint of the grumpy old man that's looking like, because they upset because they didn't live the highest vibration of their life. You don't want to be that person, you know, dwindling away in your youth when you could be like this. This is talking about even if the physical circumstance may not look like this, you still feel like that. Because of the fact that you're multidimensional. You can see what is coming. You can see what you came from. And then you can see where you're going. It's this scripture, count it all joy when you're persecuted. So persecuted, they're not necessarily referencing like when like traditional persecution, like how they were persecuting the church or the foundation of the church, like back then. They're talking about when you're being tested, you know, because when you're being tested, that means that you, like, nobody's going to test somebody that's not worthy of being tested. Think about it. If someone is not meant to be in a certain grade, they're not going to test that person. They're just going to debunk that person or push them back a grade or keep them in the same grade. Because they know that they're not going to be able to pass it, so therefore they're not going to test them. But when a person feels like somebody could have the potential of being great, have the potential of doing something great and grand and changing the world or changing their life or changing their family's circumstances, oh yeah, they're going to test it. And that's why the biblical text says, count it all joy, activate that frequency of joy when you're tested. Because when you're tested, that means that you must have something in you for to be tested. Otherwise, that the opposing energy wouldn't test you. It would just leave you alone. Be like, okay. All right, so let me see if that is everything here. Give me a second. Yeah, the opposing force is just to make you stronger, to help you form your hero story. So when you are like this, when you're, have overcome, you built that legacy, and you're sitting back and you're telling your grandkids or your children, be like, yeah, let me tell you about the time that such and such happened. It's like a good movie. And they sit back and you're the hero. That's another way of how to work with the subconscious mind. Take a good hero story and attach your energy to the hero. And you know how the underdog wins. That's another way of how you can, work with your subconscious mind. Because remember, the subconscious mind, not going too much into it, it works off of emotions mainly and symbols. So if you can attach yourself to a archetype that has that type of energy, that it overcomes something, then that's a way of how to tap into the subconscious mind. All right, so thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you want to join the ministry over here, just hit the subscribe button. All personal services as well as products are listed down below. If you would like to pre-order the divine guidance cards, that is listed down below. And I will also have like the IG page so you can see like the other cards that I have. With that, and let me see, Patreon membership, if you would like to support this ministry for as little as $1.11, you can help to support the ministry. And depending on the tier that you sign up for, free monthly readings and other ascended information. Actually, we having the 7-day heart chakra healing happening starting later on this week, and then we line up with the moon cycles. Right now we are in the visionary cycle or visionary phase, where we are envisioning the things that we want to work on and manifest. So those links are down below. And yeah, I believe that's pretty much it. So I thank you guys once again, and I will talk to you later. Peace.